back to the final video of our spring break Japanese tour.
With Shayna's parents. So from the 26th to the 28th, we were in Tokyo. We stayed at an Airbnb, and we stayed in Asakusa, which is near Sensoji Temple, Ueno Park, Nakamise shopping, and lots of izakayas and things that are fun and walkable. So yeah, it was fun.
It's considered like old Tokyo.
Yeah.
And I really liked it. I felt that it was like quaint and just really cute. Not as busy as some of the other areas of Tokyo that we've been in. It just has a lot to like see and look at.
Yeah, and considering how much we walked for the rest of the trip, having things that were actually walkable, like a kilometer away or so from where we were staying, was pretty nice. So we went out the first night. I think we beelined it straight to an animal cafe. They had some pretty neat animals.
Yeah, it's different than I thought it was going to be. I don't know about you, but I thought an animal cafe, you were eating and there were animals there.
Yeah. Well, I think that some of them you do, like the owl cafe maybe, or the cat cafes. But this cafe had otters, capybaras, like meerkats.
Hedgehogs.
Yeah, owls. You got to hold an owl with Clark.
It's like
or you each had your own owl.
An owl pooped on Clark.
Yeah, that's right. An owl pooped on Clark. That was a lot. It was a lot of fun.
The kids got to sit, and you could pay extra for some like more interactive experiences. So
yeah.
They sat for a couple of minutes with some otters, and it was just them and the otters.
Fat otter. One of those otters was so unhealthy.
It was obese.
It was morbidly obese otter, but it was so fun. I like the capybara. I think that was my favorite.
Yeah.
It was like a weird giant hamster / mini horse.
Mara seemed to really like the hedgehogs. I think she wanted to take them home.
Yeah. And then, so that was cool. And then we walked around in Asakusa for a while. We got some dinner on this, some just walking food and stuff. And it was good. And then we went back to the hotel and just relaxed. It was nice. Or not the hotel, the house. So the next day we got up early. We hit morning rush hour in Tokyo on the subway. It's just funny because we got in the subway.
I think what's really interesting, and we've talked about this, I think our last Tokyo video of how crowded it is. It's nothing like you've ever seen before. And at this point, we've done it before, and I think it just, because we've done it, it doesn't faze us. And I forgot that, this isn't normal, but it's normal to people in Japan. And my parents were like, we'll wait for the next one. There's not room on this one for us. The next one's going to be and people are like up against
the window
of the subway.
And we're like, you just got to push in. And
so you and Clark.
No, me and Mara, I think.
Oh, it was you.
We got on the first train, and I was like, I'm just getting on because I know they're not going to get on this one. But if I get on, I think it's going to force their hand to get on the next one. And Shane was like, you're getting on. That's it. And so, yeah. So we went to Tsukiji Fish Market, though. Walked around down there. Saw some cool stuff. Saw some real wasabi. Gary got some... What was that cracker thing he got?
It was a lobster cracker,
I think. A lobster. It was like a rice cracker. It was like this big. And I think he immediately ended up dropping it or something. But I think he got a picture somewhere else.
Yeah. We got some orange juice we finally got the orange juice out of the vending machine.
The orange juice vending machine.
Which was delicious.
And everybody got some sushi off the fish market street and everything else. It was really nice.
So the fish market was fun. I don't think it was what my dad thought it was going to be. I think he thought it was going to be like Pike's Place in Seattle. Yeah,
they're throwing fish and stuff. But Tsukiji Fish Market went away from that. There's another place where they do that in Tokyo now, where they actually have like the big fish that they auction off and stuff every day. But Tsukiji Fish Market is much more touristy, but it was still nice, I think.
Yeah,
good.
It was a good way to start our morning. And then did we go to Sensoji after that?
And then we went to Sensoji Temple afterwards, and I got, I was collecting Goshwins the entire time. And if you guys don't remember, I think I mentioned before, but Goshwins are like stamps that either priests or monks or whoever will write into this book that you collect. And it's kind of like a marker of all the places you've been through temples and through shrines. So it's pretty cool. And then...
So, unpopular opinion, I did not like Sensoji Temple. I thought it was way too crowded. It is like a tourist hotspot and everybody wants to go there. I think that's why Tokyo's not my favorite, because it is a touristy hotspot.
Yeah.
we've gone to other temples that I like. Like I loved the temple.
Zenkoji, not Sensoji, Zenkoji. You liked, and I like
Yeah.
Fushimi Inari a lot too. I thought,
Yeah.
even though it was crowded, it was still
But
cool.
you couldn't, when we were walking towards Sensoji, like you couldn't walk.
Yeah.
Like it was just crazy, and there were shops everywhere, and it was just too much and too touristy.
But I enjoyed it still. I had a good time. It was a very pretty grounds that everything was on. But, it was Hanabi season also. Everybody was there trying to get pictures of cherry blossoms, even though they weren't quite right. Like, they booked these tickets 8 months ago. They're not
I
going
think
to
they were finally, when we were there, they were finally blooming, and they did look really pretty in front of the the temple, but...
I know it's always crowded, but it was a weekend, and it was Hanabi season, so, like, I actually expected it more crowded, but it was pretty crazy. After that, we went to a traditional ramen shop on the street. Everybody got some ramen. It was pretty good. Yeah. And then we walked a little tiny park by the river there.
Park, yeah.
We saw some early blossoming trees. They were pretty. I know you guys are very big on the DC versus Japan. I think Shayna prefers the DC cherry blossoms.
I know they're Japanese cherry blossoms, but it's just where they have them in DC and how it's surrounding. I personally like those better.
Yeah, I think there's probably some really good spots, and if we had seen it peak season, I can't really tell until I see it peak season myself, but I generally think I agree for the most part. But and then we went back to the house, and Cheryl and Gary, they went on their way back to the States. That was a very emotional goodbye for everybody. It was a good time. It was exhausting and mentally trying, and but it was very rewarding and enlightening and a lot of fun. So,
yeah, hopefully they come back.
Yeah. Anytime. And then we went. After they left, me and Shayna walked down to an izakaya just by ourselves. We had some cow intestines and cow heart. And do you remember what else we had? I don't know. Some weird stuff.
Some weird stuff, but it was good. I really liked the izakaya. I thought it was like a nice place to sit and have a little meal, and yeah.
Izakayas are usually places where people go. Most people in Japan eat out a lot, but they're a place where people go like after work, sometimes with their work buddies, sometimes like on their own, and they'll just have a beer and some snack foods, and then they'll go on their way home. And the next day we went to Ueno Park. As we're getting the train back to the airport from there, and they were starting their Hanabi festival there. So it was the Matsuri, the Sakura Matsuri, the cherry blossom festival. They had like a whole bunch of food stalls and just people walking around, and it was pretty crowded as well.
Yeah, the food stalls were very like German style food stalls. They really like the German culture in Japan.
They do.
So there was a lot of those, like, they look very like German market type of situation.
No, it was really cool. And then after that, I think we went to the zoo.
We went to the zoo because it was there. We were trying to kill some time before we had to get on our plane, and so we went through the zoo. It was cute. It wasn't anything fabulous.
No, we saw some cool the bats in that one room were kind of cool. We saw some elephants, but I feel like a lot of the animals either were napping or just not around. I think we saw a bear or two, but yeah, it was fine. It's a good way to kill some time. It was a pretty zoo. And then we got on our train, went to the airport.
That was actually really complicated. I don't know if you remember, but getting back to that airport, because we had never been to that airport before. There was a lot of like making sure we had to like get the tickets in some weird way, and it was just really confusing.
Sometimes it's not intuitive in Japan, but we made it.
We did make it
with plenty of time. I think the plane got delayed too, so we were sitting in the airport for a while. But anyway, well, that was it. It was a great trip, and hopefully I can get this uploaded so we can do April soon. Yeah. Thanks, guys.
Till next time.
Dust on your sneakers, grass on the ground, plum juice on your lips, you spin me around. You say it's too sour, I say it's just wild. We swallow the pits like reckless children do. Back porch, swing creaking, dusk in your hair, bowl full of roadside fruit. Love in the air, seat on the wooden floor, foot on the rail. You pull me close at midnight, whisper a tale. You taste like wild plum, tangy, sweet and wild as plum.